Yes, the name is Simudzirayi. Tinashe Simudzirayi with the
Hey,
one eye.
keep my name out your mouth. I done said it before. Cause all them games I ain't bout. Tell whoever you know. Before I put a stain out, aim it dead at your throat. Or bring the rifle out the house and put your head in the scope. Pimp and train for the drummer, shout it ready to go.
The name is Tinashe Simudzirayi with the YI. I'm a bit into event hosting and I do a little bit of public speaking training as well as a speaker. So that's basically Tinashe Simudzirayi about you. So I guess maybe this afternoon or maybe this morning, depending with wherever you are, we're going to be responding to some of the questions that you guys might have and see how possibly best we can try to assist each other. So I've received quite a number of inquiries and messages as well, with a lot of people asking how I delve deep when it comes to event planning and event organizing, especially as an event host, as a speaker at the same time. Yeah, today this will be the day that we'd have to delve deep and see what number of questions I can respond from you guys. Okay, so the first question is coming from Kudzi, and she's asking, how do your skills as an events host and speaker enhance the way organizations engage relationships with their audiences? Well, from my little experience, I've noticed that event organizers, they've got two primary things that they're looking for. The first one is they want to make sure that their message, or rather their narrative, is shared to different stakeholders, both at the event and outside the event. And the second one is almost always to make sure that their audiences are well catered for and they're taken care of. So my job as the event host goes beyond the script, because I have to help in instances or issues rather that have to do with event planning, especially on the program designing. So this entails making sure that I dive deep into the message that has to be shared. And I have to do it in a professional, subtle, and entertaining manner as well. So yeah. And then Brendan is asking the second question, what are the essential ingredients of an unforgettable and impactful event? Well, from my little observation, I've realized that everything boils down to preparation, and nothing can really beat preparation. And the reason I'm saying that is because the main objective of rather an event host, an event planner, or rather a speaker at the same time, is almost always to make sure that you exceed the expectations of your audience members. So your job is simple and straightforward. Do that +1. Yeah. Okay, third question. I'm not quite sure if I can read. Oh, okay, Marianne. Can you share a standout event you've hosted or coached that made a lasting impact on both the organization and its audience? Well, there are quite a number of events I can think of, but the one that comes to mind at the moment is the one that I recently did in Nyanga. And this was the first big event actually, that I hosted as the face of the event for the next 3 days, if I'm not mistaken. And it was at the Zimbabwe Institute of Strategic Thinking annual conference, where we had government officials coming in as well as top executive officers around the country from the corporate world. Well, this one, it was quite a big experience for me because I had never, ever done that before. And considering my age as well, it didn't make sense to me to host an event like that. But either way, it happened. The audience was happy, and I'm proud to say that they actually made my job quite easier. So yeah. The next question is coming from one of my good friends, Divine. We actually go a long way back. Yeah, we used to play soccer together, but anyways, it's a conversation for another day. So the question is, what are the top strategies organizations can use to create deeper, more meaningful audience connections through events? And there are 3 things that I can think of, especially when it comes to that question. So number 1, you're looking at making sure that you've got an outstanding event host. The second one is you're looking at the caliber of speakers that you're going to have at your particular event. And the third one is all about event planning, which goes to the program that you're going to create. So to start with an event host, the reason I'm talking about the event host is because you need someone who's really outstanding, who's able to merge the message, or rather the narrative that you want to push, with the audience members in a very engaging manner. Then the second one, when you're looking at the caliber of speakers, I think you need to do your background research, because you need to look at the kind of speakers that would really speak to the objective that you want to push as an individual, rather as an event planner. The reason I'm saying that is because the speakers, or the level of speakers that you're going to bring to your event, are the ones that are going to determine so much more. That includes the audience that you're going to attract rather, and that also include the level of depth and the conversations that are going to take place at this particular event. The third one, you need to make sure that you plan your program thoroughly, you design it, and you make sure that you stick to it. Never, ever, 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 ever introduce something that is totally different from what you already have on your program. It's a bit unprofessional and it shows a lack of unpreparedness. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that question. Finally, the most important question, the one I was waiting for all along. So for organizations and event planners looking to take their events to the next level, what's the best way to start working with you? Well, you can reach out to my social media handles. Instagram, that's Tinashe Simudzirayi. Facebook, Tinashe Simudzirayi. And LinkedIn, Tinashe Simudzirayi as well. Then if you want to take the conversation further, you can reach out to my management team on the numbers on the screen. I hope to hear from you. And in most cases, it's a bit of a challenge because a lot of people ask you questions regarding how best do you mentally prepare yourself when it comes to speaking engagements, and how do you psych yourself up before you address any kind of audience. And for those that know me at best, I always tell them the honest truth that, there is no one way that you could basically say that this is the proper way for you to be in a position where you're really confident. Because in most cases, the nature of the presentation that you are delivering sort of puts you in a position where you actually need to be intimidated by the kind of crowd that you're addressing at that particular time. So you would notice that if you're used to addressing a certain kind of crowd, the moment you're then invited to deliver a presentation at a crowd that is totally different from the one that you're used to, you're bound to be intimidated. So what really plays in, or what really kicks in terms of giving yourself confidence, or rather in terms of psyching up yourself, it's more like you then rush back to the external validation that you've received before. When people told you that mdara mnotaura chirungu, or maybe mdara your vet is just good, or maybe mnoyamune English bando, or when people come to you and then they say mdara you are very articulate. So all of those issues, they really play a bigger role when it comes to addressing audiences and all of that. Well, thank you for supporting the brand Tinashe Simudzirayi and for making it to the end of the video. The name is Simudzirayi Tinashe with a YI. Cheers.